Okay, sweetheart, one more time. Here we go. All right, good. Good. I like it. I like it. Little smile. Little smile. All right. More with the eye. More with the eye. Oh, I like it. All right. Good. Good. I like it. Little smile. Little smile. All right. More with the eye. More with the eye. Oh, I like it. Good. Good. Yes. Yes. Okay, very good. Nice, nice. I like it. Keep it. All right, hold that. All right, move. Nice. I like it. Keep it. All right, hold that. All right, move. Okay, I think we got it. Very good. Very good.
Well, I think it was fabulous. It will be our best cover photo ever.
More with the eye. More with the eye. Oh. I like it. So here we have Mario's photo studio, and this is where we made our little animation. You can see I've turned on the cameras and the lights, so you can kind of see where things are positioned and where they're pointing. And basically it started out as I just wanted to get Mario to hold a still camera somewhat correctly, and so I worked on that and then just started building a little studio and went ahead and did a little animation. Also wanted to figure out a way to create what we call a live feed, as it were. You know, his camera is outputting a Wi-Fi signal, let's say, and it's feeding this laptop with an image from his camera. So I wanted to fake that, and we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about, of course, targets and all the good stuff. So let's get on with a little tutorial on the Mario's photo studio. Okay, the first thing we want to look at is the still camera. Now, this was a freebie a few years back. I think it's probably still available. You could probably build even a much better camera object out of the primitive 3D blocks that come with iClone. But I'm going to take this old object. I've separated. It was an accessory, so now I've just detached it, and now it's just a standalone object. So I want to tweak it a little bit. I want to add a actual reflecting lens. Now, problem with this is that it's basically one shape. It's one texture only and nothing else. It's a very nice texture, but that's all there is to it. And I want to separate the lens out, so I'm going to select this bowl object here, and it's pretty big, so let's size it down and get the center and size it down. Pretty small. Then I want to rotate it. So we can make a lens out of it. So let's zoom back in here now. And at some point you'll probably want to tweak it a little bit back and forth to get the shape correct, because it does reflect better depending on the way it's shaped. Sometimes it makes a better reflection. Curved objects in iClone tend to reflect a little more realistically than flat objects, so the curve is a good thing. So get her tweaked relatively close to the shape of your lens, and it looks like that object is a little curved a little bit, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Okay, now let's get rid of this texture here. We really don't need that, so let's hit the garbage can there, and then let's typically make it pretty dark, and almost completely black. You can give it a little blue color if you wanted to, but basically black is going to be good for a lens. And let's turn on reflection, and now there's of course nothing much reflecting in the room, so that's not going to have too much effect on us right now, but we'll add some things in a minute to get it to reflect, and we'll tweak that a little bit more. But for now, let's just work with that. You can see you can also create a multiple lens effect by adjusting the opacity. But for right now, we'll just leave it like that. We'll of course going to have some specularity, and it would be pretty tight specularity there, so that'll help. And then of course we want to attach to the camera, and so we're attaching that. Now the other thing on the camera, of course, is this rear screen. display, a little LED display, and it'd be nice to have that actually reflecting, displaying what the camera's looking at. So I'm going to go over here and in a folder just drag any old JPEG. I'm going to hold down the control key, and I'm just going to drag a JPEG image, and I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to resize it way down, and that is going to become the screen for the camera. And let's rotate that, and the camera is tilted a little bit, so we're going to have to do some tweaking on that to get that angle just right, and we'll play with that and get it real close. And let's turn on a light back here so we can kind of see the back of the camera a little bit better. There we go. Turned on a light, so that'll help. And once again, basically all you're going to do is size this up close to the shape that you want on the back of the camera. And then we'll map an animation, of course, onto this. And so just take some time, tweak it, and angle it just right. And then once again, you'll attach it to the camera. Okay, and through the magic of video editing, we've got everything now attached. We've got the LCD screen here. One thing that'd be a good idea is just go ahead and turn off shadow casting and probably even receive shadow. And let's do the same thing for the lens. Just turn off cast shadow and receive shadow. We don't really need to do that with that object. So now everything's attached. I'm just going to go ahead and grab an image and slap it on the back there, and you can see. And another thing you might want to do, of course, with the LCD screen is play with the brightness. And let's make sure, I think I have tweaked it up. Yeah, self-illumination is on, so that's probably a good thing to turn on. You also might want to think about adding a glow map, and let's just grab any glow map and take that down, and so that screen can glow a little bit like it's nice and bright, so you can tweak that during the shot as well. So now of course we can map animation onto that rear screen as well. So let's check our reflection, and let's play with this lens, and let's just go ahead and throw in a sky here and just see what it looks like. So there we go. Now we have a nice reflection, and by playing with that lens angle, you can get that reflection to be a little more realistic or a little less realistic. So you can adjust that before your shot and maybe get a better effect on your lens. Another thing you might add to the lens is a reflection map. I found an HDR image, and it's kind of cool, so it gives a nice little reflection map. So you might play with some reflection maps. The high dynamic range reflection maps kind of work kind of cool, so that's kind of neat too. Okay, so as you might have guessed, we're not done with our camera yet. We're going to add some reach target dummies to it. Basically, I've just taken a cone and I have adjusted the pivot point. Notice the pivot point is at the top of the cone here, and I've set it as a dummy. And you can now turn that dummy's visibility off with Control D on your keyboard. So I've adjusted the pivot point, and I've made it a dummy, and that's going to be my target for an operator to hold the camera, let's say at the lens. So I'm going to place it around this position. I'm going to create another. I'm just going to hit Control here and drag another dummy out, and I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to roughly position it over here where he might hold it on this side of the camera here. And we'll tweak those positions as we get our avatar in place. I'm going to link these targets to the camera instead of attach. You could attach, but this will give you a little more flexibility if you link. So now if we select the camera and if we move the camera, okay, our targets are moving with us. They are linked. I'm going to add one more dummy object. This little red cube. It's simply a cube. I've made it a dummy. And I'm going to position that cube around here. And now I'm going to link the camera to that cube. And now when I move the cube, everything moves. So now we've got our camera set. Okay, let's add our avatar. We've got Mario here. And let's adjust our camera. And don't forget the red dummy now is what's going to be controlling the camera movement for here. And we'll bring it up here, and let's now get Mario in a pose to hold the camera. So we right click and bring up the motion menu. We can bring it up here, and now I'm going to hit the E key and bring up so we can rotate these things around and start positioning the camera and start positioning his hands in a way that he could realistically hold a camera. And basically just take your time and do the best you can with figuring out what's really going to work best, what'll look right, halfway realistic. And then we will start positioning the reach target. So here we go. Okay. And there'll be a lot of tweaking to do, for sure, but get it roughed in, and you'll be able to tweak it later. Now, let's go over to the reach target settings, select that left hand, pick that particular reach target cone. Let's do rotation, and now, of course, he's going to be distorted pretty good. Let's go ahead and adjust that. Now we will get that particular, and now we will rotate it around. I'm going to turn off snap. And just get it as best you can. And the more time you spend on it, the better you'll be able to tweak it, I'm sure. But that'll be close. So now we've got the reach target adjusted. And if we happen to move the dummy right here, notice his hand is moving very nicely with the camera. So we're going to do the same thing now for the right hand. Okay, now I have adjusted the right hand and attached it to the reach target, which was linked to the camera. And now when we grab the red dummy, everything's should move very nicely, like so. And we can position it in and out using the red dummy, which gives us, I think, a little more control than we might have attaching it another way. Now you can tweak. We're getting a little bit of nice, maybe too much bend here, so we can tweak this hand a little more to hold it just a little differently. We can lower it and do some rotation here if we want, and position it just a little different to make a little less distortion for that position, which might work. And once again, looking at it from all angles is always a good thing to do. That will typically help you get it positioned even better. Don't want to get the fingers in front of the lens, of course. Okay, so now maybe a little cleaner grab there of the camera. And once again, moving the red can move very nicely. Okay, let's see what we can get into with animating Mario using the motion puppet. And let's just pick anything, and of course notice the problems we're going to have there. We've got to link the red dummy to Mario so it moves with his body. So let's look at picking the red dummy here, and let's link it. And you can experiment with different positions on the body. I think the head is probably going to work out best in most situations, because his head, as he's taking pictures, will be looking at the model, and I think that'll be crucial. But let's just see how that works using the head as the linking area. And let's go back. Okay, and also we've got a problem here. Notice the hands are moving. Probably going to want to mask the hands, and not that we're necessarily going to use that particular pose. That's pretty dramatic for a photographer. So let's look at some better poses. For one thing, just a natural pose for one might work nice. Masking off the hands and the arms. Okay, here we go, looking pretty good. Okay, actually, in experimenting around, I actually found this depressed pose works pretty cool, and I used it in the animation. I like it because he walks. Now, once again, let's get his head. We had to mask his head there. Okay. Actually works kind of cool. So I'm going to use that one. So let's just go ahead and record that one. And let that run for a little bit. You can let it run as long as you want. And then I'm going to pause that. Okay, the cool thing about this, and I contend the red dummy is going to help us a lot, is the fact that we can select the red dummy and put a transform key here. Let's just copy what's here at 200, don't make any changes, and then I'm going to move it up to his face, and not that close maybe. Okay, so now, see, you can go up, take a picture. Now, once again, he's kind of looking all around, so let's add Gwen as our photographic model. There she is, got her already ready to go. She's already going to do some posing. So let's get our avatar, Mario, selected. Let's have him look at her face. And now, here we go. Okay, now another thing that might be good, once you've got your model involved, is have her look at the camera. And let's just see about doing that. Big target, camera. So now she'll be looking at the camera. Very good. Okay. So in essence, what we've got here now is the targets linked to the camera. The hands are, of course, reaching the reach targets. We've got the red dummy target has now been attached to the head, and everything should be moving pretty good. Of course, you can still tweak Mario. I kind of wanted him to move into position and then maybe lower his hips a little bit. So let's look at maybe making a little move here where he kind of goes down a little bit. Yeah, you see, you can still tweak things along. And then I'm going to duplicate this frame here and just kind of, so now he goes down and then goes back up to position. So you can make still more movement changes. Another change I like to do is adjust the way he holds the camera. Now, being somewhat of a photographer myself, I prefer sometimes to shoot vertical shots instead of horizontal with the camera. So let's see how we can do that. We can adjust the camera. So by having the links set up the way they are, I can take the camera and rotate it. So you see, but we have to make a few other adjustments, of course, along the way. So let's go down here to transforms, and so he's going along, taking a picture, and let's adjust this a little bit. Let's do it along here. Okay, he goes in and comes back, and that's where he'll make his adjustments. So I'm going to create a keyframe there. Doesn't do anything. Then I'm going to create another keyframe for the camera. This is the camera. I think this might be the way to do it. And then, of course, notice we've got some major distortion going on, so we're going to have to make a few tweaks. And he's going to hold it in that position for a while, and then maybe I'm going to duplicate this keyframe by holding down the Control key. So he goes up, turns it, we're going to make a tweak there, and he goes back, and he can hold it a little longer. Drag those. Okay. So now let's fix this other problem we've got here with this hand here. So I'm going to go to that position there. I'm also going to determine which that's that target right there, that reach target. And let's create both of them. Let's look at both of them here in the timeline. And transform is there. Going to slide this up. Okay, the reach target, want it to move. So I'm going to double click on the timeline. And then now let's adjust this reach target here. Like so. And once again, you can tweak it a lot more than I'm going to do here. So there won't be quite as much distortion in the hand. Okay. Takes the camera, moves it around. Okay, a little rough. And then goes back. And you can tweak and get it much smoother than that. But you get the idea, I think. And also, I'm going to select all my keyframes, right-click, and select ease in, ease out. You can't see it there, but I'm going to do that for the camera and the hand, the target as well. Reach in, or ease in, ease out. And so it'll be a nice, smoother transition to that movement. There we go. That's a little better. So once again, tweak, tweak, tweak. You should be able to get exactly what you want. Like so. Okay. Very good. Now here we have the basic setup for the camera shoot. And really, I was using really just two main lights. I have a backlight here that's giving a backlight for our model, and then it's lighting Mario. And then I'm using another spotlight to act as the strobe. It's giving a nice flash effect. Now, the flash effect was very simple to do, and you can probably improve on it a great deal. And all I did was just add some keyframes and played with the multiplier. And the multiplier is right up here. And the light multiplier starts out at 0, and you'll notice right here, we zoom in here, we've got 3 keyframes to cause the flash, bright and then off. And you can play with those to determine how much you really want. But that's giving the flash effect there. Okay, now as far as the animation file, the screen that we mapped onto the camera, you can do that probably a number of ways. I chose to just add a camera and film her from a camera. Now you could attach the camera to the actual still camera, and it might be interesting. You might get some interesting stuff. Let's take a look at that camera's perspective. Obviously, if you turn the camera around, you may have a problem, but you can film that action and then map that animation into the screen of the camera. Now, you might not want to tilt the camera, and you might not want to parent it exactly to the camera, because it won't make that much difference probably. But that's how you can do that, and then you can map that image onto a lot of different things once you have the animation file. And that's, of course, what I did when I mapped it onto the computer screen. Just created an animation, mapped it onto the plane, and mimics what the camera is seeing. So, hope this little tutorial wasn't too boring for you. Hope you picked up a few little tips. Might help in your next iClone project. So, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon.